Hey, thanks for joining me. This is Jason, the co-founder of SERPWoo, and today I want to show you how I look at if my SEO is working, whether that's me implementing the strategy and the links and the content, or if I'm paying somebody and I want to evaluate if they're doing a good job. And it's not just to see if my SEO is working in a positive manner, but also negative, or if I've got negative SEO, or if I've been penalized, or if there's an algorithm shift. I get these questions a lot from either people who do search engine optimization or people that pay a search engine optimization agency or person like a freelancer to do the work for them. They really want to know if what they're doing is working or if there's other outside influences that are causing their rankings to go up or down. And this question is really easily answered with SERPWoo. There's no other tool that is available that offers you this kind of insight. Now there are a lot of competitors that are trying to rip us off with what we've invented and what we've came up with, but SERPWoo, because we allow you to look at the top 20, top 30, top 100, just depending on your project settings, you can look at your SERP and tell visually over time what's actually happening. This question about is my SEO working is answered with this type of functionality that SERPWoo invented. So if you look at my screen right now, we're looking at the Pepsi keyword. I'm going to change that real quick here. Whoops. Let's see. We're going to look at organic soy milk vanilla flavor. I'm actually going to choose the first keyword here. So I've been monitoring this keyword just because I have an interest in this particular SERP because of the product and the products coming out within the SERP. You know, think like Soylent and so forth. But what we're looking at here is we're looking at the SERP from April 21st until May 4th, which is today. And if you look kind of in the middle to the right, you're going to want to be looking at specifically April 28th. I'm going to highlight the first URL here so that you can make sure that you see it. Now, shift one day before, April 27th and even April 26th. If you wore the 7th place domain on April 26th, which is this keyword right here, you were also 7th place on the 27th, but you went up on the 28th. Now, if you own this website, you might be looking at it saying, yes, our SEO strategy is working. The person I'm paying, they're doing a good job. When in reality, if we come off of this, if you look, there were a lot of websites that moved up on the 28th. As a matter of fact, it's kind of from 4th position down to 14th. All of those went up on the 28th. Sorry, it wasn't your SEO strategy. Sorry, it wasn't the guy you paid. It wasn't the links that you just built. It wasn't the content that you just published or the YouTube video that just went viral. Everybody from 4 to 14 moved up. That means that somebody above 4th dropped out and everybody just pumped up. Sorry, it's not an algorithm change. It's not your SEO. Consequently, the next day, though, if you notice, everybody shifted back down. You know, if you were looking at this at the 28th and then the 29th, you might say, oh, our SEO strategy's not working. The guy that we're paying, he isn't as smart. We've been negative SEO'd. We've had a penalty. There's an algorithm shift. No. Whoa, pump the brakes there. You don't need to change anything. This is the problem that normal SEO tools give you. You're only looking at your domain, or maybe you're looking at 3 other competitors too. When you use SERPWoo and you're able to look at the entire SERP, top 20, top 30, top 100 even, over time, you can tell that, hey, listen, there doesn't need to be a change in your SEO strategy. Nobody's negative SEOing you. There hasn't been a penalty. Your guy isn't, the guy that you're paying to do SEO isn't a bad person or a bad strategist. Everybody moved down. That means that 2 people, because there's actually a shift in 2 positions, 2 people on the 29th popped in and moved everybody down. So you don't have to freak out about if you've been negative SEO'd the day before. You don't have to give yourself a pat on the back that your SEO strategy is working. Using a tool like SERPWoo here, you can obviously tell that it's not a penalty, it's not an algorithm shift, it's not negative SEO, it's not even your SEO strategy. This is the normal ebb and flow of the SERP. Everybody went up, everybody went down, and you don't have to freak out. Consequently though, if this wouldn't have been the case, let's say it was just your website or another website that went up and down, you might ask yourself, well, how do I know that this isn't an algorithm shift? How do I know that this isn't a penalty? Well, one way that you can kind of answer that question is looking at volatility. And if the change was recent, you could look at volatility today compared to yesterday, compared to 7 days ago and 14 days ago and even 28 days ago. And you can kind of look at that and say, is all of the SERP moving, or is it just this one website? And you can kind of get an idea that if everything has been stable, it's probably not an algorithm shift. If everything has been stable, it could be a penalty just for your website, because your one website's not going to influence all of the volatility of this SERP. If there's a lot of movement though going on, that could be an indication of more competitors coming in. That could be an indication that this is a really highly competitive niche anyway. But if you wanted to get more clarification past volatility, you can actually look at our global stats. So let's turn volatility off here. Let's go to our global stats. And what global stats does is it lets you look at all of our keywords in our entire keyword universe. Now this is going to take a second to pull up, but with global stats you can actually look at how things have looked and cross all of our keywords, which gives us an advantage over other tools like Mozzle, Weathercast, or Algoroo. And you can actually look at what has happened. For the past 28 days, you can see that global volatility has not moved a lot except for within the mobile space. If we scroll down, we can look overall as far as a country, look at global versus the United States. But you might say, hey, my keyword is in the United Kingdom. That's not a problem. Let's add United Kingdom to the mix. And as we scroll down, the darker green is the United States, but the lighter green is the United Kingdom. Wow, there's actually something going on in the United Kingdom, not only for May 4th, but also we're looking at April 25th. The United Kingdom is actually fluctuating more in volatility than global, all of our keywords, and it is definitely for the United States too. Now you might want to look at this as like non-local based keywords versus local based keywords. You can look at it as desktop, you can look at it as mobile. As I scroll down, you can even look at it as just keywords that have volume under 1,000 impressions a month, over 1,000 impressions a month, over 10,000, over 100,000, and even over 1 million. And what we're finding a lot of the times is, at least recently for May 4th, the United Kingdom does have more volatility. So if your keyword is in the United Kingdom space, it very well could be some kind of algorithmic shift. It definitely doesn't mean that you're individually getting penalized. But if we scroll back up here, what I like to look at is volatility for the past 28 days. If I wanted to even zoom in a little bit more, I could look at the last 7 days. This is going to refresh here, and I can look at the last 7 days and tell, really looking at this, there isn't much change between non-local, local, desktop, but there is a change in mobile. So it very well could be my stats are being impacted if I'm tracking mobile, my keyword as a mobile keyword instead of a desktop keyword, which is again a setting within your project settings that you can look at, that you're wanting to look at mobile instead of desktop. So this would be something that you would want to look at. And if your keyword is mobile based and there's a lot of volatility, that might indicate that, well, that's just a global shift, a global algorithm shift. That's not a penalty. It's not because of a lot of competitors, which it could be, but it might not be. This is just the way mobile is. But if it's a desktop keyword, you might actually be looking at, you know, with desktop, if we look at these last 7 days here, desktop has not changed very much as far as global volatility is concerned. So if we go back to our project, we're going to have to just look at this. You know, in this case, we had a shift on April 28th. We don't need to be concerned about it because that was just somebody coming in. Well, actually somebody coming out, and then 2 people coming in the next day. That's why it went up and down. You don't have to freak out that you know, this is a penalty or negative SEO. This isn't your guy doing a great job, even though he could be doing a great job. You'll have to look at the longer trend to see if you're moving up or down. But at least when you look at it from this perspective, you know that you know, things are okay with your project. You don't have to change your strategy. You don't have to do more work. This is one way that I can answer, is this an algorithm shift, a penalty, negative SEO, or is this just my SEO strategy? Now, I hope that's helped you today. I'm going to come out with some more videos about how I use SERPWoo daily. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just leave them in the comments. Thanks, guys. Bye.